Welcome, everyone, to another interview with the magic of choice. And I'm thrilled
Another interview
today. There we go.
with the
I just need
magic
to-
choice. And I'm
All right, there we go again. I'm thrilled because today I can almost say dear friend now, Rebecca Hamilton. And she is such an important businesswoman here in Ontario. She is sharing all her knowledge with everyone around her experiences. And then she got a dog. So she had a dog already, but there was a puppy coming, and she chose us to help her out with her puppy. So, welcome, Rebecca. I would love to hear a little bit more from you, who you are.
Thank you so much. Yes, we've become good friends over our time together, and I've really enjoyed working with you guys. I love that our values are very similar of kindness, authenticity, and integrity. That's really important for me when I'm working with somebody else. But yeah, so I am Rebecca Hamilton. I own Chick Boss Cake, and I wrote a book and I do a podcast. I do all kinds of fun things. I love helping other entrepreneurs grow their business and stuff like that. So I'm a pretty busy businesswoman. And so when I got a puppy, I was like, I need some freaking help with this because puppies are a lot of work. I know you always just see the cute little pictures online and you're like, oh, I am obsessed with dogs. Okay. Like I am the most obsessed with dogs. And so I get lured in really easily. I cannot go looking for puppies because that means I will definitely get one. And so when I knew that I was getting this puppy, and then I knew that you, Ariane, had your joyful support training for dogs and puppies, and you run it with your daughters, which I absolutely think that is so freaking amazing that you're teaching them business skills and everything like that. And they are boss women on their own. Like your family is insane. Like they're so intelligent and amazing. I am like blown away by them. And so I knew when I was going to get my puppy that I really wanted to work with you guys because I've just gotten to know you guys over the years and I love everything that you do. And I knew that I needed help. So I came to you guys.
Yeah. And we were thankful that you came to us. And there was some challenges because you are not living very close, but you still did it.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? That's whenever it's most important for me to find businesses that I like match my values. That's the number one for me. So I don't care really the distance as much. I will make the trip and put in the effort if I feel like it's a good match for me personally, because that's really, really important to me. So like my hairdresser lives an hour away, my nail lady's 30 minutes away. You guys are an hour and 15 minutes away. And you know, I will make the trip for quality services. And that's what you guys are.
And I love that. Thank you. And I think it is so important because as a business woman, you figured out that being aligned is more valuable than find the first one close by, right?
Oh my God, so true. I've never even talked about this, but it is very, very true. I love that you brought that up because the time and aggravation that you save yourself from just finding the first most convenient option oftentimes takes more time and energy and makes you feel drained and doesn't when it doesn't feel aligned with you, it's just not a good fit. So that's a really great point, and it is really important to look for those businesses that really do match your values and match what you're looking for, because it's going to be a better fit long term. It might be more time and energy and money up front because maybe you have expenses to take the trip and whatever. But what you will save and what you will gain long term from it, totally worth it.
Oh, I love it. This is all in my heart because there's so many people who don't know their values anymore.
Yeah.
And your values are your number one to be aligned with.
So true.
And I think more people should start thinking about what they really value, because
I agree.
we're so used to value everyone around us and we forget about us.
Yeah. And you know what? When you figure out what your values are, you can align everything in your life. You can align your career, your business, your friendships, your relationships. Every single thing in your life should align with your values. And I'll be honest with you, I did not even know what values meant, like probably 3 years ago. I would hear people talk about, what are your values and blah, 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 blah. And I had no idea what that even meant. But when I really dialed it in, when you break it down, it's basically what is important to you. What do you look for in a friendship or in a relationship? What are the qualities that you need? And what are the qualities that you do not want to associate with as well? Because having that contrast is also really, really important, right? And
Yeah.
so when you look at those things that you look for in like a romantic relationship or a friendship, those are your values. So those you can apply to when you're trying to find businesses that align with you. Maybe you're trying to look for a career change and work for a company that aligns for you, because, not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur. You can be very successful working for somebody else as long as your values align with them. Otherwise, you're just going to clash and you're going to butt heads and you're going to feel like crap and be tired and drained all the time and wonder why. And most of the time why we're tired and drained all the time is because our personal values are not aligned in our life with the people and the jobs and the places and the things in our life. So as soon as you create that alignment, you will feel so much better.
Right there, boom. This was your business training for today.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about it because it makes a
Yeah.
huge difference.
I know, and that is what I train to my people, not just in dogs, but also
Yeah.
with the coaching around us, because it is so important that we know our values. And there's so many
Yeah.
ways to figure out, but just sit with it and think
Mhm.
about it, and they will come because values make you happy,
Yep.
right? And I can
Yeah.
remember one of the training in the beginning, I asked you and I said, what are your top 3 values, right?
Mhm.
And your first one came right away out was kindness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very important one for sure.
Yeah. And I love that because my top value was love, and kindness and love are pretty close to each other, right?
They are, yes.
So that is where we find each other with. If we
Mhm.
know who we are, what matters to us,
Yeah.
then we know with who we want to interact.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is so true. And as the more you learn what your values are and the more that you clearly define them, the easier it is to navigate through the world, right? The easier it is to be like, oh, that person definitely matches my values. That person does not mean I'm going to be mean to that person or put them down, but I just don't necessarily need to associate with them as much as these people over here. So once you define them, you can be pulled towards things that match them, and you feel so much more fulfilled and inspired and alive, honestly. So I think it's amazing.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Good. So we know now that it's important to have the value around you in business, career, relationship, friends, whatever it is,
Yeah,
but also with your dog,
absolutely.
right?
Yes.
So think about, what do you value from your dog? What is important for you, Rebecca, with your dog? What is the reason why you want a dog?
Just like the most love and affection. They're like the sweetest creatures on the planet. I love them so much. I would like have a house full of 101 Dalmatians if I could possibly, but I could not do that. There's so much work, but I love them. But yeah, the companionship, the loyalty, they're so freaking cute. I can't handle it. I love everything about them. They're your best friend. And, I don't really know life without a dog. I've always had a dog in my life, and I had one that was very important to me that passed away last year before I got my new puppy that you helped me with. And when my old dog passed away, I had her since I was 18. She was there with me through a lot of really hard times. And experiencing the loss of a dog was so freaking hard. And I think it's very underestimated. And a lot of times people that don't have pets, they don't really fully understand. So I had all the emotions and I was like, there's no way in hell I'm getting another dog after this traumatic experience of my dog passing away. Like, there's absolutely no way. I'm like, Chad jokes with me now because when my dog passed away and we would be driving out and about, I'd see people walking their dogs all happy and everything. I'd be like, do they know their dog's going to die? Like, it's so sad. Like, it's so traumatic and it's so sad. And I just was so broken and I was like, there's no way. And then it took me a couple months and I thought about it and I was like, the amount of joy that I experienced throughout that life of that dog is worth all of the pain. So I was like,
Yes.
that made it all worth it. And I was like,
Yeah.
I always need to have a dog.
Yes. And I love that you brought up, because this is a reason why a lot of people don't want a dog anymore, because they cannot handle the grief of the
Yeah.
dog. But you know
I
what?
get it.
You need to see that your dog had a lifetime with you, with
Mhm.
all kind of experiences and
Yeah,
emotions, and that on its own is so much value.
it is. And it's so worth it. As hard as the grief part is, I look at, my puppy now and I'm like, I know she's going to die in like probably 12 or 15 years. I'm aware of that. It's going to suck, but I'm cherishing all these moments now. And my every single day is so much more happier because she's there. So I just remind myself of that pretty
Yeah.
frequently.
And also, I want to jump on this because you have a dog that fits with you exactly the way you need it at that time. So when you
Yeah.
were 18 and you had that dog was necessary to grow through all the hard things that you did.
Yeah.
And
100%.
and so you will never find a similar dog again, because you are changing, right? You
So
need
true.
other things. And so when your dog dies, of course it sucks, because the experiences and emotions you had with it are gonna be released.
Yeah.
And that's
So true.
okay. But
Yeah.
then while you changed your life, you attract another dog that fits then with you. And
So true.
that dog has a mission. It has a new mission to change with you, to evolve, to expand with
Mhm.
you the next coming years.
I love that.
Nothing better than have a dog who mirrors you and supports you, because our dogs just mirror us, right?
Mhm. Oh, I
They
learned
don't-
that from you. Yeah, you told me about that and I thought, oh, that's very true. It's so cool to see.
we don't always want to see it.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of scary. Their little personalities.
Yeah, because like if we see our dog and we get frustrated with their behaviors, we need to be aware that most of those behaviors were created by you.
Yeah, so true.
But there comes the magic of choice, that as soon as you are aware that it happens and that this is a mirror, now you have a choice,
I love it. So true.
right?
Yeah.
So how did you experience coming to us? And then we had first the 3 starters lessons package, right?
Yeah.
And you did another 6 lesson package. How
Yep.
did you experience the lessons with your dog?
So I thought I didn't really have any expectations coming in because I've had dogs my whole life, but I've never took them to dog training before. So I didn't really know what to expect. And I've watched YouTube videos on tips and tricks and stuff like that, and I didn't really find them super helpful. So I was like, I don't know. I really had this vision in mind that I I would see my friends' dogs, they'd be all really well behaved and so sweet and everything. And I was like, what did you guys do? They took their dog to training. Okay. I'm going to take my dog to training, but I want to take my dog to you guys because, like I said, the values align and I like your whole approach to training, which I really got to learn from the very first day that I brought Confetti there. And as soon as I went through the three package with you, the 3 sessions, I really got to know kind of what your approach was. And it seemed completely different than anything I watched on YouTube or seen on the dog shows or whatever. It was just so different. And I was like, I don't know how this is going to work, Ariane, but like, I was like, you're so patient. And so you're like, we're not going to say any words. We're just going to be patient and wait for the dog to make a choice. And in my mind, I'm like, what does that even mean? It's an animal. I don't get it. Like, I just was like, I don't know. But I trusted you because you match my values. So I'm like, okay, well, obviously, you know better than I do what's going on here. So you really showed me a completely different way than I would have ever imagined dog training to be like. And I fell in love with it because I am a calm, quiet person myself. I am an introvert, so I don't like to yell at my dog. I don't like the feeling that I get when I get frustrated and angry and I'm like, stop doing that, like that's annoying to me. I don't like being like that. It just is negative energy and I'm not that person. So when you came in with this whole approach of, how you guys train the dogs with no vocal anything, you just let the dog make the choice and then you reinforce the positive behavior. I was like, this is amazing. This is like a miracle. And I couldn't believe like how my dog responded to it so quickly. Like she literally responded to it almost instantly. And so I was like, okay, this seems too good to be true. And it is working and it's amazing. So from the very first time that we started working together, I saw the results right in front of my eyes because this dog was responding to your way of training. And I was like, for me, it was such a calm and gentle and kind approach to training. It's like pretty much the opposite of what I've envisioned it to be like. So once I learned that that's how you guys do it, I was like, well, I'm going to continue working with you guys because it feels better for me to work with my dog like that. So I love it.
Awesome. So your way of interacting with your dog is within your values now.
Exactly. And the way before was not, because it would be like loud or you'd be like, get off the couch or like yelling like a maniac, right? Because you get frustrated when the dog's not listening. And then like you explained to me, when you have that frustrated energy that you're putting out there, then the dog gets even more like frustrated and aggravated and stuff like that too, because you taught me that the dogs respond to energy, which makes sense. I'm very much into energy and stuff like that. So it does make sense if you come into it with a calm and kind energy, your dog will respond in that way too. So I learned so much, which is amazing.
Yeah. And I love that. So our emotions are part of the training. So sometimes I tell people, if you're frustrated, angry, disappointed, or sad, don't train your dog.
Yeah.
Because like training when you have any of those emotions is not fun. And training with fun is much better. And you learn much faster too.
It's so true. And I think that our human nature is to, train the dog or tell the dog to do something, even kids too, very similar, but like we react out of frustration. We're like, the dog is doing something we don't want it to do, and that frustrates us. So then we respond to that, as opposed to not waiting until it gets to that point and creating the healthy behaviors and better habits before it even gets to that point. So you're not training out of that space of negativity and frustration, because I find like a lot of people, they're reactive as opposed to being proactive with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so true, right? We only reinforce the behavior that we would like to see more of. But
Which I
we are
love.
so used to give attention to all the things that we don't like.
I
So
know.
if they are on the couch and you don't like that, go off the couch. And with that, we give it more energy,
Yeah,
more attention. So your dog is like, oh, you want me more on the couch? I will go.
exactly. Exactly.
Right? So
Yeah.
your dog does the things that you give attention to or energy to. And that
Makes
is
so much sense.
and that's the big thing, the big change that we have with our approach, that
Mhm.
we reinforce the behavior that we like to see more of.
Exactly. And I love that. And honestly, like I came to you guys for dog training, but really you train the humans. So it's like human training to train the
Yes.
dogs. Yeah.
Yes, and I love what you say, because I feel more and more that I am supposed to be the dog trainer, but I don't think that words does value to what I really do, because
Mhm.
I do train the people. And I'm not even training the people to train their dogs. I go a step further. I train the people to do their part in the relationship with their dog.
Mhm. Well, and the thing that I really love about it too is that your training technique can be translated to kids, it can be translated to friendships, to relationships, to anything. So I just think it's really, really cool how powerful it is to learn it. I think you should offer different kind of training for people that don't have dogs. Like you could have child training, you could have friendship training. It's just about the person, because once you get that mindset right, and you learn how to positively reinforce relationships in your life, and then you'll see how they respond in a more positive way as well. Like
Yeah.
once you adapt to that and you learn how it works, it creates so much peace in your life, because you're not getting so frustrated by the people who are, respond like acting out, and you're responding negatively to them. You can respond with peace and patience and kindness, because you are composed, and just the whole approach is really cool. I know this is about dogs, but it's so much more than that, and it can be translated into all areas of your life, and I love
Yes,
that.
I love that. And yes, I approach this as a lifestyle. And I started to do this with dogs because I learned so much from the dogs.
Mhm.
And that was my way to bring my purpose out in the world, right?
Yeah.
Those people who know that their dogs can do more than they do now with their dogs.
Mhm.
That's the people that I start to approach right now. That doesn't mean that this will ripple out to the rest of your life, because it is a lifestyle. It
Yeah.
is a way of life. And we talk a lot here about reactive dogs. There's so many
Mhm.
people who come here with reactive dogs. But
Yeah.
if we really think about how many reactive people do we have?
Mhm. Until you are working on that part of yourself, every single human is a reactive human. We react out of our emotions, and sometimes it's positive and sometimes it's negative, but we are emotional beings. So until you're able to understand the psychology behind it, how it works, why it works, and work on yourself, then you will always continue to be a reactive person. And honestly, it's a really crappy place to be if you just go through your entire life being a reactive person, because there's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be people who are really difficult to deal with. I mean, if you're in business, you deal with customer service, that can be challenging. And
You
there's
know
all,
that.
yeah, there's all kinds of external things that are going to happen no matter what. So the only thing you're in control of is yourself and how you respond to those things. So if you can learn to rein it in and control it, you'll just be so much more at peace. And isn't that what we want more of in our life, is just peace, being happy?
Yes. And that's exactly, I did yesterday live about that we need to give our control away because control is just hiding all those emotions
Mhm.
that we cannot
So
do it the
true.
way we want, but we just
Yes,
need to sit with it. It brings peace and freedom.
it does.
And that is part of values that are important for me. I don't want a stressful life, right?
No,
I
exactly.
I want a dog who fits into my peace that I can enjoy life the fullest with joy. That's why
Exactly.
we are joyful support, right? Because joy is one of my top values
I love that. Yeah.
beside love, and connection is another one for me, right? I
Mhm.
want that authenticity and that integrity in the connections that I make with people, but also with my dog
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
also with myself, because we forget a little bit about us too.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
true.
I love this conversation, Rebecca. It is amazing how we went from values in the
Yeah.
business to values in their dogs, and from the way how we make choices when we are aware of our behaviors and how
Yeah.
our dog mirrors our emotions back. I think it
Mhm.
is wonderful how you explained your experience, and you came here with confetti, but you do have two dogs, right?
I
So
do. Yeah.
it is pretty easy if you learn how to do the things here to bring it home and do it with all the other dogs that you have as well. You don't have the
Exactly.
101 Dalmatians yet,
Not yet.
but even the other dog, you can do it too. You don't have
Mhm.
to come with every dog with us
Yeah.
to learn the skills. And
Yeah.
I start to do more and more for people who are farther away to just have a call for 15 minutes where we have a free call to just talk with you. What is
That's
your
awesome.
mindset behind the behavior?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that you do that. That's
And we can
amazing.
just tweak certain mindsets or certain behaviors from you that right away affect your dog.
Exactly.
And that is parts where I am very passionate about. A relationship that we have with our dog is from two sides, not just from
Mhm.
your dog. So do your thing with it. It's so
Yeah.
important.
No, I
All
love
right.
that.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you. And I'm looking forward to another lesson with you and all the things you do, because they're pretty amazing. And there is right now, the podcast is active from you, right?
Yes, we're in season 3 right now of Scrap the Sweet Talk podcast, and it's been really, really, really good. It's all on health and wellness this season, so it's been really fun.
Yeah, yeah. And in the meantime, around your business, you're enjoying life too, right?
Well, exactly. And I had to learn how to do that because in the beginning, when you're growing a business, you just get so consumed and you're working like crazy hours and stuff like that. And, it gets to a point where you really do want to have your business, but also enjoy life, because that's the most important part. And whenever I'm talking to new business owners and entrepreneurs, like, I know the struggle of starting and growing a business. It is a grind, it is hard. And there's honestly no way around that. In the beginning, in the first few years, that's what you have to do. That's the work you have to put in to be able to enjoy some more extra free time later on. So it's kind of the trade-off that you get when you're a business owner and you're not working for someone else. You don't get the 2 weeks paid vacation, you don't get the sick days, but you're putting in a lot of time up front to get some more free time later on. And so I had to learn to that it was okay to do that and take some time to travel. I love to travel and explore the world and stuff like that. So that's my passion, and I'm really grateful to be able to do that finally, because it felt like I was never going to be able to, because the business is so crazy.
Yeah, awesome. And but I do want to add one more thing, because
Yeah,
I learned over the last year to take time every week in my schedule for me. And
absolutely.
the moments that I just plan my hikes in my
Yeah.
schedule to be out, to not work, because
Hmm.
that is the moment where I get the most inspiration
Oh yeah.
for my business.
Me
Right?
too. When I'm out in nature, that is the inspiration zone. And honestly, disconnecting from your phone is very important. I have this thing, like I love social media. I love it so much. I love taking photos and making memories and videos and all kinds of things. But like when I'm traveling or on vacation and stuff like that, I will take pictures, but I do not post as much. I don't respond as much to DMs and stuff like that because it's so important to be in the moment, because I feel like we forgot that how to even do that, how to disconnect and like be present in the moment. And like you said, that's where all of the inspiration comes from. That's where you get all the stuff channeled through you, from the universe or God or whatever. And I can't say how important it is to disconnect from social media, take some time in nature. You are right on with that. So important.
And your dog can help you and remind you of
Exactly.
that.
It's quality time with your dog too. It's a win-win.
Your dog will love it, maybe
Oh
even
yeah,
more than you do.
exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I end this conversation because I think like we can go on and on. We are both so passionate about this. But if you have any questions, I cannot see any questions on Facebook, but I will tag you in there. And I hope that you answer if anybody has questions for Rebecca. And if anybody has questions for me, please reach out because we will get back to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ariane, for the
All
conversation.
right. Bye.
Bye.